Now looking at this custom CSS file, you might notice there's quite a lot of duplication. You can see here there's footer A again, footer A, footer is repeated here. So we just have this footer over and over again. We've got dot center here, dot center h1, so that dot center is repeated, and so on. You might also notice that we've kind of hard-coded these colors. It'd be nice if we could make this easier to read by eliminating some of that duplication and giving these colors some names. In that context, we can use what are called syntactically awesome style sheets, or SAS. Because this is an SCSS file, we can just start using SAS right away. I mentioned this duplication dot center here. So what I want to do is eliminate that duplication by getting rid of this part here. And SAS supports nesting like this. So if you put this h1 rule inside dot center, SAS knows that the dot center class applies to this h1. So if we save it, it should be the same. Yep, it certainly looks to be the same, and there are no syntax errors. Otherwise, we would have gotten an error page there. If we scroll down, we can see that there's some duplication here with the logo. This is a slightly more complicated case, though, because let's see if we tab that over. So you might see inside here, we'd like to be able to do this, but this will not work. In fact, let's save it and verify that. Huh, looks like it did work. That's weird. Just actually make sure that there's something happening here. Let's change this to red. This is one of the things I like doing in CSS, is just to make sure that it's picking up the change by making some obvious change. Yeah, so there's something weird going on, because you can see it actually didn't change it there. Why did that not work? Okay, so if I eliminate it entirely, it works. I mean, that actually shows that something is happening here. So if I save this. Okay, so look at that. It actually does work. I didn't realize this. So there's a shorthand for this, though. Rather than repeating the ID, we can just replace it with the ampersand character. So this ampersand refers to whatever the parent element is here. In this case, the logo ID. So I can verify that this still works. And you can see that there's quite a lot of repetition here in the footer. And I'm just going to paste that in, because doing this by hand is left as an exercise. There you go. See if it still works. Great. There's something else that SAS gives you. It gives you variables for colors. And so in this context, I'm actually going to replace some of the other things too. So this color can be replaced with light gray. Oh, so this will actually give us an error. Let's double check this. So this 777 is a light gray color, but in fact, light gray doesn't exist. So I just want to show you how to define a variable. So we can go to the top here, and we can define it to be 777. Now it should work. There we go. But it turned out this is actually built in to Bootstrap. Bootstrap doesn't use SAS natively. It uses an alternative framework called less. But there's a way to convert from less to SAS in this context very easily. So we can convert less colors, or less variables generally, to SAS variables. Let me show you how to do that. So there's a link here. Follow the link in the Rails tutorial. I'll try to keep it up to date. This does go stale every once in a while, though, which is kind of annoying. So you can see that we don't actually have light gray, but we do have gray light. And in less, that's at gray-light. And the way to do that in Sass is just to replace the @ with a $sign. So let's go here. Rather than light gray, we can change this to gray light. This is nice because we can reuse this here. Let's look for other occurrences of 777. Just replace them. I could replace them using search and replace too, but there aren't that many of them. I think that was the only one. And then, oh no, why does this not work? This should have been red. I never changed this back. Oh, it's the hover. That's why. Here we go. Hover. Okay, well, so maybe before. Let's take a look at this. I said that it didn't make a difference. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this actually doesn't work. So this notation that I was surprised worked, it actually doesn't work. Because you can see here the text decoration none, that's getting rid of the underline, but you can see the underline is there. So this is working. Aha. Yeah, so now if I hover, I get red. That's what this is. So let's change it back to this. Yeah, so now it doesn't do anything when you hover over it, which is appropriate for a logo. All right, well, I'm glad I got that fixed. All right, there's another color here that I want to define. I want to define this 555. That actually comes as part of Bootstrap too. This is just gray. And then this is gray darker. Let's take a look at what else we've got here. And then there's one more gray color. I'm going to name this one. This doesn't come as part of Bootstrap. I'm going to name this gray medium light. Define that up at the top. These are variables and other things called mix-ins. So let's take a look at this. Paste that in, and then gray medium light. Save that and see if that works. Great. And there's one more thing I want to change. I'm going to change these FFFs to the name of the color. This is actually part of CSS. This has nothing to do with Sass. You could actually just do this. And I mean, look, FFF is really common, so people will know what it means. But I feel like white is even clearer. There we go. Great, so this is our refactored custom CSS file to use Sass. So now we've got a variable, and we've used some of the built-in Sass or Bootstrap variables that have been converted to Sass. By the way, that happens inside here. That happens because of the Bootstrap Sass gem that we included. Sass can do a whole lot more than I've shown you in this section, and we'll be talking about some of its other capabilities later on. But this is a good start. We can see even just with the variables and nesting, we've significantly simplified our CSS file.